middle of an astrological configuration that creates a lot of confusion and delays. I apologize for my tardiness, but if you're ever going to have a large business project, you need to know what's happening with the planets because they have a tremendous influence, not just on your personality, but on the way you do business and on your ability to be successful. Today we have our online training for prosperity. And remember that prosperity means to have what you need. It does not mean riches or properties or money in the bank, but to have what you need, which is actually what we should all want. Because to have money in the bank when you cannot buy anything with it is not what you need at that point. So knowing the definition makes it easier to accept things that come to you that in the moment you may think does not mean prosperity. I'm not sure I introduced myself. My name is Frances Fox, and I'm a trained remote viewer. And since 1999, I've been very focused on the issue of prosperity. I gave my first seminar on prosperity in the midst of chaos in 1999 because I knew tough times were coming and I wanted to be able to teach. Here we are on the edge of some kind of a change. And that change may shake us up in terms of our prosperity. And I want all of you not only to be ready, but to be primed and to not allow whatever it is that happens out there in the outside world, not to have it make a dent on your prosperity. In a few minutes, we're going to go ahead and start with the prosperity mantras. And all during that time, I will be giving you a healing. I have done this before. It doesn't really matter how many people there are. It's my intention that allows me to do this, my focused intention, which is another thing that you should be learning here. But first, I would like to tell you of a part of your body that you need to pay attention to. Excuse me. We will have to be getting a pet sitter. But I find that when my pet does this, it's because she's looking to stabilize me. And we all know that we are doing this chat day one after an undecided election. So there's a lot of nervousness in the air, not just mine. Know this about your pets, that they can help you to stabilize you, having to do with your prosperity. What did I want to tell you about your body that relates to your prosperity? All human beings, regardless of whether they're male or female, channel energy in both of their legs, but the energy is different. The right leg in all human beings, not just men, channels the male energy of power. The definition of the word power means the ability to do, the ability to act. It does not include the word abuse, though too many people have abused power in this hierarchical world that we've lived in until now that is now changing into community. So power does not include abuse unless you choose to be abusive. So your right leg channels the male energy of power. Your left leg channels female energy of wisdom. You need both. So, and you're saying, but I have both legs. I'm ready. No, not necessarily. Without moving your legs, right now pay attention to where your legs are. What foot is on the ground? What foot is dangling in the air? What leg is lifted over the other leg and hanging on the knee? If you find that your right foot is not on the ground, I think that tomorrow and the next day and the next day, as you start paying attention to your right leg and foot, you may find that a lot of times it's not on the ground. Most human beings favor one leg or the other, and they're not even aware of it. But whatever leg you favor means that the other leg is limping. Today, we're talking about your left leg, your right leg, excuse me, which is where your power is going to be channeled, male energy of power. So if you find now that your right leg was not on the ground when I asked you to check before you moved it, I think you're going to find in the next few days that it's not on the ground. which means you are not channeling male energy of power. Now you go into training, and this is part of training for life, but we're talking today about prosperity. You need to get that foot on the ground, and if that leg has any issues, injuries, muscles are too tight, uh, you need to look into it. You need to have an operational right leg if you want to be powerful, which means to have the ability to do and to act. In the last session, um, I told you to pay attention to your front door, the inside and the outside, because the chi, the life force in your life, comes through your front door, but it's also where career is. So today I'm asking you to add another task to your list of things to do in order to be prosperous in the midst of chaos. And that's your right leg. Pay attention to it. Both legs ideally should be flat on the ground. But right now I want you to focus on your right leg. So we are going to now do a mantra, which, excuse me while okay. We're going to do a mantra. And I'm going to explain the mantra for everybody who's new. A mantra is a device that liberates the mind. The mind has two levels. The graphic that you're seeing on the screen, the man with the arms extended, that's your astral body, your spirit. From the center of it extends 72,000 mind strings that are actually referred to in the Lord's Prayer in the original in Aramaic. They're also called mind streams in Buddhism, but I'm not going to go into all of that. They knot. They get all knotted up, and they droop when you're depressed, and they spin when you have compulsive thoughts. So mantras liberate them so that they can have their proper configuration, not grab onto things, not droop, not twirl around, not do a myriad of things that they're able to do. So the mantra can help you to achieve flow in your life because those 72,000 mind streams are supposed to flow. So today and the other days that we've been together, we have done one baseline mantra, which is, please God help me with my intention to heal my, I left out the word my, let's put it in, prosperity, ancestral vasanas. So let's explain the rest of the mantra. Intention creates reality. That's easy. Why do we say please God? Because with remote viewing, decades ago when I discovered how your mind shifts when you have an intention, I could see that people that were earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, astrologically, had a tougher time achieving what they wanted through these mantras. And so it didn't, when I added the words God, asking for outside assistance, they were able to achieve it more easily. So right now I recommend that everybody leave the word God in there. Prosperity means to have what you need. That's what you want in a world that is collapsing, in a world that is no longer what it used to be and we don't know where it's going. So you want prosperity. You don't want money. You don't want land. You don't want information. You need prosperity, which is having what you need. Ancestral. Why is that word there? Many people who are into the healing professions know that a lot of the issues that you have are inherited. I have a shaman friend from the mountains in Colombia that when he does healings on my clients, he's always talking about their ancestors, to thank the ancestors. The Chinese deal a lot with ancestral issues. And adding that in makes for some very important memories that can come up. Vasana means a deep-rooted scar on the mind. It's the basis for karma. I have the comments at the bottom about it. It's the basis for karma. It's the basis for patterns that repeat in your life. You went bankrupt once, deep scar in your mind, you will have a tendency to go bankrupt again. But you can clear that vasana, that scarring on your mind, like a knife, a cut with a mantra, which is what we're doing. So the mantras are repeated in silence. You repeat the words in your mind. So for those of you who already know how to do this, you can go ahead, but let me explain that we need to first protect ourselves before we start, as is done in practically all spiritual events. There's first a protection. So we're going to protect and align. How do you protect? You go down to what's your root energy center, which is in between your anus and your genitalia. And you visualize yourself sitting on top of a huge lotus flower. I'm talking huge. Lotuses flourish even in swamps. They protect. And this protects you from the underworld, which is underneath that root chakra. Then trolley on up to the top of your head and visualize that there's an opening there, or open it, just invent it, open it up, and visualize it from inside of you. There's a channel that is reaching up until instinctively you stop, at which time you should start to breathe and channel in this gold energy that you now have access to, because you took your central channel, which overlays your spine, and you extended it through your mind. Your mind creates reality. You can do anything that you want with your mind. And you're now channeling the energies of the age of Aquarius, not the age of Aquarius, but the golden age. It's a good feeling. And now you can go ahead and start to repeat the mantra in silence. Excuse me. And you release the breath through your mouth. You get very relaxed, 2 feet on the floor if you're sitting. Remember the lotus flower. Remember this opening here. The reason why you have to extend your center axis is because if you don't, you're going to be channeling this energy, which is a cloud of very negative energy of depression and negative thoughts, etc., that basically has landed on all of us. So we literally have to, like coming up for air, coming up for water, in order to be able to feel all right. So go ahead and start. And we're going to do this for 20 minutes. And I'm going to be giving you a healing as we're doing this. What we have found when I give these community healings is that there seem to be themes that we all carry, or most of us carry. And I find it like throat chakra. The last time there were issues with the throat chakra, either in all of you or in many of you. And so I discussed what it is that I saw and what I was doing. And a lot of people were able to feel it. And a lot of people said the next day they woke up, they were much better and their throat is much more clear. I'm only letting you know that I may be speaking as you are doing the mantra. You listen, but you keep repeating the mantra. You keep your focus. Part of the issue of creating reality in the midst of chaos is your ability to focus on that intention, not your intention to be safe, not your intention that you don't lose everything. Those are reactions, they're not intentions. Your intention to be prosperous. Go ahead, continue with the continue with the mantra. I think these online training classes are going to be very successful because I see gold here around your, this is called the crown energy center, the crown chakra, and I see gold. I've not seen that before. So continue to breathe rhythmically, repeating the mantra. I have just continued with the mantra. I have just become aware that the reason the first time I gave this kind of a class, which was like 25 years ago, that the whole room filled with gold, and I was training private bankers. I did not understand that, and now I'm seeing gold here in all of you, is because the definition of the word prosperity means you're going to have what you need. And we're entering a cycle in which we have a deep need to develop the spiritual side of ourselves. And this mantra is going to help that happen. That's why many people say they don't care to earn as much money. They need to feel good about what they're doing for a living. They need to feel like they're helping people, like they're doing something that was the reason they were born. And this mantra will help to align you with that. Continue with ooh, going to show you a photograph now. Do not join the chat at all. Look at it and note in your head what color you see this dress, which is famous. It is gold and brilliant white. But when your vibe is off, you could see it as blue and brown. So just note, I'll show it at the end again. Making my security blanket. Um, making her comfortable. Um, from this level of your energy center, you have gold petals, and then from between them are extending these mind strings. They're Nile green, and they're shooting out. Remember that for those of you who are Christian or Catholic, Jesus Christ had that crown of thorns. Well, exactly in that spot is where you have petals that are gold and these strings shooting out. That actually is like an unraveling or a developing of your mind. And basically, we just started to do the mantra 6 minutes ago. I see in a lot of you in the upper chest, you've been holding a lot of congestion of worry and of fear. Totally understandable today. And it's like unraveling. It's like these big, thick cords are that have been draped around your throat and your upper shoulders is now undraping, as if you had big rope around your neck. It's now getting untwisted, unwound from your neck. So many of you will probably notice that you can breathe easier. And you may find your shoulders more relaxed. The visual was like the arms of an octopus wrapped around this particular energy center, which is the throat chakra. I see a lot of you starting to relax and sitting more fully in your chair rather than almost ready to leap out of your chair. Try and have your haunches, your backside very grounded on your chair. That is your rooting. And the more rooted you are, the easier it is to maintain prosperity. Prosperity is very much a root chakra, earth concept and issue. I am considered to be a very good psychic. Okay, I know that. One of the reasons why I'm a good psychic is because I don't monitor what it is that I'm seeing. I'm not trying to make something that I'm seeing go away. So I'm going to tell you what I see, which I do not understand. But I see like a wave going across all of you, except for somebody of the group that's not a legitimate participant, but somebody who's here, I don't know, to spy, who knows. But everybody beyond that person, there's a wave here, but it's a wave of gold triangles. So it's like this part of you has triangles. Um, they're gold. It's obviously a good thing. I don't understand it. Continue to do the mantra. The lower back is where most of us hold a lot of tension. Usually, if you have a backache in your lower back, you're holding frustration there, anger, rage. And right now, when you're holding it there, you are literally holding it with thousands of these strings. You're clenching that frustration that you have, that anger, that rage, to the back of your body towards the bottom, lower back, hiding it from yourself and also from others. I'm starting to unravel the clenching, those knots in those strings that end up creating backaches. Some people have a backache for decades. They may not feel it 24/7, but it will kick in when they become more angry or they become tired. Anyway, a lot of this is getting released right now. And a lot of the theme of what is getting released in your lower back right now by my healing is the words I'm hearing. She took that from me. That was mine. She didn't give me enough. He wasn't fair. Why didn't I get that? That's the theme or the quality of the issue that I'm now unraveling in your lower back. So if you have had that type of a theme in your life, you may find it less problematic or less irritating or less damaging after the uh, online training today. Yes, Todd, they are traumas that create a tremendous scar. You can say trauma instead of asana. I find the word vasana has a magical edge to it, but trauma will absolutely work. Mm, I would prefer to generally not do this, but for you, Todd, I think your father had some traumas with monies when you were young, and you used to feel sorry for him. You had compassion for him. Unfortunately, that created the scarring on your mind, um, and you may be reproducing some of his trauma with money. The breath is very important, and if you can feel the breath in your mouth when you're expelling it through your mouth, that is very good. You know, almost like filling up your mouth with the breath. We hold a lot of our tension here, and this part of us reflects on our lower back, and our lower back control our hips, and our hips control our direction in life. So when we have a lot of tension here, our hips get locked, and then we have a hard time getting what we want because we can't move towards it because of our hips. Remember to have both your feet on the ground, but before you put them down, check which one is up in the air because that's the energy that you're rejecting. A lot of females don't put their right foot on the ground. They're rejecting their personal power. Their animals transfer their energy to you. In feng shui, they recommend elephants at the front door because the front door has a lot to do with your prosperity. And elephants are similar I believe for a minute it froze. That's why the photograph did not come up on. Okay. If this happens again, the internet is iffy around the world, then just let me know and I will go ahead and reload and we'll be back on track. Here's the promised elephant. Just breathe in the energy which will give you stability, rooting, grounded energy of prosperity. There seems to be a lot of tension in your solar plexus. And right now I'm undoing, I don't understand why it's a gold cord, a gold mind stream that's around your solar plexus holding it in. Your solar plexus is also an energy center called the solar plexus chakra. And it is the center of power, personal power for human beings. And it's been tied in by a gold cord. Again, my obligation is to tell you what I see. It doesn't necessarily mean that I quite understand it yet. But if you like, you can go ahead with your fingers and tap, but in your solar plexus, which is in between your belly button and your chest, that whole area there. And just tap there as I'm doing this. I see an awful lot of gold, which is kind of neat. So we basically we've done more than 20 minutes. We'll make these sessions even longer, but in the beginning it's kind of hard to keep the focus. You start to get bored. Afterwards, you don't. It's a relief to do it. And it's nice to really get deep into the energies if you do it more than 20 minutes or half an hour. But I think we've finished with that now. I want to remind you that your mind creates reality. Basically, every religion knows that, teaches that. In metaphysics, we know that. In New Age, we know that. But our mind has a way of what the Buddhists call a monkey mind. Those strings react to fear, to pain, to anger, to something being taken away from them. They grab onto things that they're very attached to or overly attached to, and that creates issues. Again, a mantra liberates them. But speaking of reactions, many people will look at the election results and feel that it means their life is being held back because the person that they wanted isn't elected. Therefore, this and this and this and this and this is going to happen. That's a reaction. That is what has kept human beings not understanding why they're not getting what it is that they want. So reactions are a major enemy of your prosperity. So whatever it is that happens in terms of this election, because today is the 4th of November, 2020, do not allow your fears to interfere with your focus on being prosperous, even in the midst of chaos, being prosperous, even though your candidate didn't win, being prosperous, even though your father was not prosperous, being prosperous, even though they told you you were a loser in school. The mantras help to stop reacting to reality and use more of your energy in creating your reality. You're always creating it, but a lot of the reality we create is a reaction to something that we didn't like. So I want to let you know that this Saturday night, which I believe is the 7th of November, we'll be giving our first Zoom, but it will be in Spanish, and it will probably be longer, but you can still join it and do the mantra together with us, because in a group setting, there's a multiplier effect, and you will again be receiving a healing from me and whatever assistance I have in the other dimensions. If you have noticed something important, something big, a change, or if there's any important comments that you're feeling, please send us an email. We want to make these online training sessions as effective as possible, that maybe there's something that we should be doing in addition to getting a pet sitter. We would like to hear from you. We've had several testimonials that have been phenomenal in terms of people holding an incredible amount of stress, even aches and pains in their body, and after one session just kind of letting go and feeling a lot more optimistic about their financial future and their future having to do with everything that's going on. It will be Saturday night. It will be at 9. It will be advertised on my Facebook page. There will be a link there. It's free. In the future, we will be charging for the sessions, but right now it's free. And I suggest you join us, whether you speak Spanish or not, because what you're signing up for is 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes of being in the energy of focused intention on achieving and maintaining prosperity in the midst of the chaotic world that we live in today. So I'm going to say good night, and we will see you then Saturday, and if not, we will